What is good, NFL fans? Welcome back to Triple Play Sports Talk, the home of all the latest NFL news and content and post-NFL draft breakdown. Today's video, we're going to try to answer the question, are the Atlanta Falcons making all the right moves in free agency and post-draft signings? From snagging QB talents to bolstering the defensive line and even securing wide receiver reinforcements, every move counts. But which signings are truly brilliant, mid-level, or downright intriguing? These rankings will be based on each team's respective expectations for the upcoming 2024 season. Free agency and draft moves will be deemed brilliant, mid, or interesting based on the following meanings. Brilliant equals moves team in the right direction. Mid neither helps or hinders. And interesting just means questionable. Now that we are prepared for this NFL series, let's get into it with the Atlanta Falcons. If you guys are new to Triple Play Sports Talk or enjoyed our last video, do me a favor and make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. And also feel free to comment down below your grades for these free agency moves. So now let's get into the quarterback moves that have been at the center of the Falcons' short offseason. Kirk Cousins, the man the Vikings called their consistent starting QB for the last 6 seasons, decided to be a free agent this offseason after coming off a season-ending right Achilles injury that prematurely ended his 2023 season. Before the injury, Cousins led the Vikings to a 4-4 record in 8 games. He threw for 2,331 yards with 18 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. On the open free agent market, Kirk was a sought-after talent for a number of teams looking for stability at the QB position and managed to quickly sign with the Falcons minutes after the NFL tampering period began. The Falcons and Kirk managed to agree to a huge 4-year, $180 million contract for the 35-year-old in a short period of time. No more than a month later, the Falcons shocked the world by not using the number 8 pick in the 2024 draft on 3 of the top available DN prospects, a possible top QB prospect, or even trading with a number of suitors during the draft, but instead they decided to draft none other than the Heisman runner-up, Michael Penix Jr. Penix was considered throughout this year's draft as a top 5 QB, and for good reason. During the 2023 college football season, Michael led the Washington Huskies with 4,903 yards passing, threw for 36 touchdowns to only 11 interceptions, and made a valiant appearance in the college football national championship game. Penix's only knock in regards to draftability were his early career injury concerns, 2 ACL tears in 6 seasons, and the fact that he'll be 24 years of age at the beginning of his rookie season. His selection was met with an astounding amount of criticism from majority of news outlets, specifically for one sole reason. They just signed Kirk Cousins and can't get rid of his contract for at least 2 seasons, and once they're able to, they will have to eat $25 million in dead cap space, which is crazy. So many of you that are watching this video right now would label these offseason moves as dumb for a number of foreseeable consequences. But for me, I would rate them both as interesting for the moment in terms of helping the Falcons reach their goal of making the playoffs for just a couple reasons. You have to remember the Falcons are fresh off 3 consecutive seasons of living in a reality of not having a serviceable QB since they traded Matt Ryan, and it hasn't been pretty.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Oh my God.
Yes, sir. Oh my God. Run it back.
The downright general terrible QB play with the Falcons' inability to effectively pass the ball to a number of first-round talent they have drafted the last 3 drafts. The QB position needed a major overhaul. So I understand doubling down on the position in one offseason, but they have managed to put themselves in a high-stake gamble situation. On one hand, Kirk could ball out for the 2 seasons for the Falcons to then move on to give the reins to Penix at the age of 26, and he stinks it up out there to the likes of Desmond Ridder. Now you are right back in the same position, but now you have a 37-year-old QB at the helm while you try to find your next young QB. Another scenario, Kirk could get hurt this season and you are forced to start Penix. He balls out and he puts up stats similar to ones he put up in college, forcing them to keep him as the permanent starter. Now you're stuck paying your backup QB close to $50 million. The final scenario involves both QBs stinking it up for the Falcons and they have continued to miss the playoffs. So for now, I would label these moves as interesting, but they are very well have a chance of being deemed brilliant if the Falcons go far in the playoffs, or deemed mid if they have the same success they've had the previous season. So let's see what happens. Next, let's talk about the many moves the Falcons have made in terms of the defensive trenches over this offseason. The Falcons went heavy with revamping that side of the ball and could very well add more pieces if Calais Campbell decides to not retire and they can work out a deal for his return. The Falcons hit the ground running this offseason by signing some of their veteran depth pieces, such as the likes of D lineman Kentavious Street on March 18th, who was formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles that was traded for at last season's trade deadline for a Falcons 6th-round pick in this year's draft. Next, the Falcons signed Eddie Goldman for the 3rd time in 3 seasons in hope that he can be a strong contributor along the defensive interior. Finally, the Falcons ended their pre-draft signings by picking up former Washington Commander D lineman James Smith-Williams on April 10th. On face value, these 3 moves, in my opinion, should be rated as brilliant for the simple fact that they're able to add proven depth. All 3 of these players are solid pieces in the pass rushing and run game. They won't wow you every play with their abilities, but they provide consistency one would expect from veterans that have been in the league 4+ years. For this team, adding valuable depth along the D-line is just as important as finding or developing a consistent star pass rusher this team has been missing since the days of John Abraham and that one odd 2016 season of Vic Beasley. Moving on to the picks the Falcons made during the 2024 NFL Draft. They quadrupled down on bolstering pieces that can help build on the progress of the defense made last season. Outside of the Penix pick, the defensive line picks brought a mixed bag of reactions from a fan base that was expecting the Falcons to draft either Dallas Turner, Latu Lotu, or Jared Verse. Instead, they waited to the 2nd round to trade up in the draft to grab defensive tackle Orhorhoro from Clemson. As far as the Falcons fan base and media goes, nobody had Rook on their radar as a possible pick. As unknown to fans as Rook is, that may turn out to be a brilliant move by the Falcons for a few reasons. Rook can be characterized as a vocal leader who earned all ACC honors in his final season at Clemson. He is credited with 97 total tackles, 12 sacks, 9 pass breakups, and 2 fumble recoveries in his 1,526 career snaps over 53 games. He started 30 of them from 2019 to 2023. So during his limited starts over the years, he managed to make a significant impact in the run game, and he has shown the physical tools to be a disruptive D tackle at the next level. The main knock many commentators have in regards to Rook is that he hasn't played enough football to fully understand the game and requires some coaching up. Well, he fell into the perfect situation because the Falcons have a plethora of leaders on the D-line to assist him, along with proven coaches that can get him to a point of being that disruptive force. Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata, and Eddie Goldman are all on the wrong side of 30. Orhorhoro is a perfect fit at the defensive end in the Falcons' base 3-man front. He has the traits to give the Falcons a pass rush and much needed boost. Next, the Falcons went into the 3rd round and grabbed another productive pass rusher by the name of Bralen Trice out of Washington. Unlike Rook, Brady won't wow you with his athleticism, but he makes up for it with pure effort and technique. He did that consistently for the Huskies with 101 total tackles, 28.5 for loss, 18 sacks over 40 games. He started 29 of them from 2019 to 2023. This can be categorized as a brilliant move because this move again adds to a rising defense and bolsters a developing young pass rush room that includes Zach Harrison, Arnold Ebiketie, and D'Angelo Malone. Lastly, let's talk about the final major D-lineman asset the Falcons grabbed in the 4th round, Brandon Dorlus. This pick can definitely be considered a brilliant move because it clearly states the Falcons' mission to have a versatile D-line with a number of capable pass rushers at their disposal. This is exactly the nature of Brandon's career at Oregon. Along with leading the team with 5 sacks this past season, he has amassed 691 pass rushing attempts as a primary defensive tackle, 391 pass rushing attempts as a primary edge rusher over his time at Oregon that led to him attaining 106 total tackles, 27 for loss, 12 sacks, and 13 pass breaks over 57 games played. Brandon Dorlus can play inside as a defensive end or even outside linebacker. The many moves along the D-line, specifically pass rushers, were the Falcons' biggest needs, and now they have 3 rookies who fit the bill, along with a few experienced veterans that may translate to the Falcons' defense taking another leap this season, but we shall see soon in the coming months. So up next on our list is the number of moves the Falcons made in their effort to revamp their wide receiver depth through mostly free agency signings after an underwhelming performance from the unit as a whole during the 2023 season. While most could rightly point to the unit's underperformance as a direct reflection of subpar QB from last season, it could be heavily implied that the unit was a patch job that lacked high-end, impactful players. At the start of the free agency period, the Falcons lost Mack Hollins to the Buffalo Bills, Scotty Miller to the Steelers, Van Jefferson to the Steelers, and Amir Byrd to the Washington Commanders. This led them to only have 2 wide receivers left on the roster: Drake London, their 2022 first-round draft pick, and Josh Ali, their only remaining 2022 undrafted free agent signing. With the addition of Kirk Cousins, the Falcons are sending a clear message that they plan on throwing the ball a lot this season, and they need some capable receivers to add along to the 3 great catching options they drafted in the first round the last 3 drafts: Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson. They managed to accomplish this goal this offseason by signing a number of suitable veterans that can be stamped as upgrades to the previous starters and backups. To start off free agency following the signing of Kirk Cousins, the Falcons went and grabbed the number 2 wide receiver option for the Chicago Bears and Darnell Mooney, traded Desmond Ridder to the Arizona Cardinals in exchange for their 5'7" speedster Rondale Moore, signed special teams return ace Ray McCloud III from the San Francisco 49ers, and re-signed Cordell Hodge. In totality, I'll mark all these significant additions as mid for a few different reasons. The addition of Darnell Mooney does provide the Falcons the reliability and experienced number 2 wide receiver option, but isn't a significant game changer. He is capable of having a 1,000-yard season, but hasn't recorded a season of over 500 yards since 2021. Definitive upside to having him is that drops won't be an issue. He's only had 1 season with more than 1 drop. The addition of Moore provides the Falcons with the speed this wide receiver room definitely needs to stretch the field, but doesn't bring the reputation of being dynamically productive over the course of his career. He has played only 39 games over 3 seasons to only produce just over 1,200 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. He does possess some potential to increase his production if the Falcons manage to utilize him in a similar manner to how Taylor Gabriel was used during the 2016 season, which means getting him out in space by using screens and deep routes. McCloud's greatest value is in his ability as a returner, but they may not be realized if he can't beat out Avery Williams during training camp for the job. His speed and playmaking ability are invaluable, but time will tell if he's able to showcase those abilities in a larger role on special teams and offense for the Falcons. So until his role is clearly defined, mid best describes this role. The re-signing of Hodge is good in terms of gaining a valuable special teams player and blocking wide receiver, but in terms of impacting the lackluster passing game the Falcons are trying to revive this season, this doesn't move the needle. So mid definitely describes this move. Moving on to the picks the Falcons made during the 2024 NFL Draft, the Falcons waited until the 6th round in order to draft a wide receiver that could add some size to the roster aside from Drake London in the form of Illinois wide receiver Casey Washington. This move can definitely be categorized as interesting in terms of the potential he has as a capable starting number 2 wide receiver alongside Drake London. He has the potential size at 6'2" and a 4.46 40 speed to be developed into the type of option that will help the other dynamic receiving options the Falcons have on the roster to see single coverage a lot more often. In terms of immediate impact, I will place this move in the mid category because in his current iteration, he can be a serviceable plug-and-play wide receiver if needed that can be reliable but not dynamic. Majority of his reps this season will come on special teams as he develops and builds upon the 49 catches for 670 yards and 4 touchdown season he just had for Illinois this past season. So in totality, as it currently stands, I don't believe the Falcons will add any other receivers this offseason or need to, because as currently constructed, the offense will be predicated on just getting the ball out to their playmakers and giving them room to operate, which is a dynamic they were surely missing and lacking last season. So lastly, let's quickly categorize other subtle moves the Falcons have made to bolster their roster, and believe me, they made some solid moves to shore up depth for a number of positions. The Falcons started free agency out needing to fill out the tight end depth after they decided to move on from Jonnu Smith this offseason and lacked notable NFL experience outside of Kyle Pitts. So they went out and signed 26-year-old former 49ers tight end Charlie Warner. He isn't a dynamic pass catcher, but is a great option to use in their blocking scheme on offense and special teams. For these reasons, this was a brilliant signing on the Falcons' behalf. Next, the re-signing of offensive tackle Storm Norton, center Ryan Nielsen, and linebacker Nate Landman were mid-moves because they provided quality depth at their respective positions when key players went down last season and maintained the productivity of the offensive defense, but didn't elevate either group. Finally, the Falcons used one of their 2 6th-round draft picks this year to pick up running back Jace McClellan from Alabama, which in my opinion is an interesting move due to his potential to develop into a real threat on offense and as a special teams returner in the future. Or he could suffer remnants from his 2022 torn ACL injury. His 890 yards rushing on 180 carries and 8 touchdowns from this past season show that he is definitely trending in the right direction, but time will tell how dynamic he can truly be in this offense. So that concludes our video, brilliant, mid, and interesting NFL free agency signings, Atlanta Falcons edition. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please like, share, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and look out for us to continue this series for all the NFL teams this offseason. Also, let us know in the comments what you think of our rankings and if you have any suggestions for future topics. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.